Alright, it's exactly 4:06 a.m. on an exceptional day. April 2nd of 2020. That's today's date, sis. But Rhonda has already decided to build a jacquard bra. That's right, in a 3-pack set with removable pads, which is very amazing. Callie was hosting in the studio by herself last night with Regina and Emilee. We would be very happy to explain that to other people. Now, we're so excited to do something fine. Before we go on and meet models Regina and Emilee in a possible way, we want to explain some event cancellations and building closures, even those around the world, as a result of the coronavirus pandemic that's going on all around the world. And I will tell you some more news about it. We're going to explain some more news about the pandemic. Presumably in the middle of March, Governor DeSantis declared a state of emergency for our state. He would allow more state, local, and federal resources to be enforced as part of a chance. And that might be how Governor DeSantis declared that state of emergency. As far as I'm concerned, the governor was a member of the Republican Party before he became a governor, to replace former Governor Scott. He is now a former senator. Now on to the building closures and event cancellations. Our favorite theme parks in the whole wide world may have been closed, some until further notice. So, Disney World decided to announce their own closure. Disney announced Disney World's closure until further notice as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. And then, on that note, Disneyland all the way in California may have also been closed as a result of the coronavirus pandemic until further notice. Also, I'm not sure about the closings of Busch Gardens and Seaworld and Universal Orlando Resort, especially Universal Studios. Everyone has been worried about all those closures. And also, all schools here in the state of Florida may have been closed until Friday, May 1st or later. According to a bad news flash from the Florida Department of Education on their website. And at the time Callie's show was shot last night, there is already a good idea. But at the time of Callie's show last night, there had already been less than 8,000 cases of the coronavirus here in the state of Florida, including over 100 deaths. In this case, 101 deaths. Governor DeSantis had already issued a stay-at-home order for our entire state, which will go into effect at around midnight tonight for sure, after Rhonda's social distancing thing is over and done at her home. Also, we want to explain certain sporting events being canceled. And that, sis, means no sports.
No sports?
For a while?
Yes, no sports for a while, you're right.
And we're doing fine at just after 4 o'clock in the morning. In the case of any sports cancellations, March Madness was the biggest sports cancellation of the month of March, as far as I'm concerned. March Madness had already been canceled by the NCAA. I'm pretty sure there was a terrific NCAA basketball champion last year. There might not be any national men's basketball champions this year, for sure, thanks to the cancellation of March Madness and that men's Division I basketball tournament by the NCAA. Also, the start of the professional baseball season may have been delayed with an opening day game until further notice. Also, professional basketball seasons may have been suspended until further notice as a result of the pandemic. And some auto racing events may have been cancelled as a result of the pandemic as well. Especially the Indianapolis 500 may have been postponed. I can't believe the Indy 500 is already postponed. There was already the Daytona 500 and the Super Bowl earlier this year. So the Indy 500 may have been postponed, presumably until further notice, I think. So, in addition to the postponement of the Indy 500, some other IndyCar races may have been postponed as well until further notice from IndyCar. I do believe that. There had already been one race. At least one NASCAR race was in the works earlier this year, and that was the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. So, there could possibly be another Daytona 500 in 2021. I'm pretty sure I love sports, and unfortunately, for the next couple of days or weeks or whatever the case may be, there would be no live sports.
No live sports? Oh, come on, Eddie. You're right about that.
And also, there's more bad news for everyone who would love to go to the movies, sis. All the movie theaters nationwide may have been closed until further notice, including the AMC Theaters chain. And for anyone who would love to go to a specific Florida beach, all the beaches here in the state of Florida may have been closed until further notice as a result of the pandemic. I'm pretty sure that Disney World, Seaworld, Universal, Busch Gardens, and Adventure Island, right here in Central Florida, may announce particular and tentative reopening dates, presumably after the pandemic, though. I'm not sure when, but as far as I know, we'd make things exciting. What are we going to do throughout the stay-at-home order that Governor DeSantis may have issued earlier in the month of April?
Well, we're going to feel relaxed, pet our dogs and cats. We don't have kids, right, Eddie?
Right, sis. And presumably, Callie may be able to take certain medications to reduce the risk of getting the coronavirus. And coronavirus disease 2019 is also known as COVID-19, sis. Anyone who would love to get the latest information on COVID-19 or the coronavirus or whatever this thing is, can go to the website for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention at cdc.gov. So, they can also find out how many cases of the coronavirus there are here in Florida, including how many deaths. That's at the website for the Florida Department of Health, which is floridahealth.gov. Think about that, sis. floridahealth.gov. That's where it's going to be. And I'm pretty sure that, again, all schools here in the state of Florida may have been closed until Friday, May 1st. Now I know a tentative plan for a specific school closure until then. That information may have been confirmed by a commissioner named Richard Corcoran, and Richard Corcoran himself has worked at the Florida Department of Education for many years. Unfortunately, I thought so, but I'm not sure how long that Commissioner Corcoran has worked for the Florida Department of Education. Anyway, there's a bunch of people helping us out here in the state of Florida. As Floridians, we will work together to help stop the spread of the coronavirus here in Florida, with a stay-at-home order that may go into effect by midnight tonight for sure. Rhonda should really obey the stay-at-home order. It'll go into effect for 30 days. Rhonda is already on Skype. Oh yes, Rhonda's Skype conversations, presumably at her home, may have been previously recorded for rebroadcast, in this case an encore. Right, sis?
Right, Eddie. Rhonda needs to spend some more time. Presumably she should create any broth at home.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure about building closings and event cancellations. Presumably there are friends knowing about the closures and cancellations. And I'm pretty sure about some good news for people who may have had electricity, pay TV services, internet, and house phones. Some companies are suspending shut-offs here in the Tampa Bay area until further notice as a result of the pandemic, which is really bad news for everyone who needs to stay focused in preparation for the worst part of this, a great coronavirus pandemic. Regina must have watched something on TV. Maybe she may have watched President Trump in the coronavirus task force briefings. But President Trump needs to help this nation quick. I bet the president can help us stop the spread of the coronavirus here in the state of Florida, and so will Governor DeSantis all the way in Tallahassee. Yes, that's where Governor DeSantis works, sis.
Yes, Eddie, you gotta be kidding, are you?
Rhonda is going to be featured in an episode of Obsessed with Style later today with, yes, little Valerie. Yes, and she has hosted Wake Up Beautiful with Valerie since approximately March 4th, when that show premiered at 7 o'clock in the morning on HSN. I do have to believe in you, sis. Now let's get on with some information about that jacquard bra with removable pads. Rhonda just put together, presumably, the same jacquard bras from her factory, right before her factory may be at risk of a possibility of its employees getting the coronavirus or something like that. They would get at least those mild symptoms. Sis, we know what the coronavirus symptoms are. Some symptoms may have included a cough, and presumably loss of breath or shortness of breath for sure. Yes, correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, I'll correct myself, sis. Here we go. Symptoms are cough, fever, and shortness of breath for most people who get the coronavirus. Some people may have had difficulty breathing, and there could be death in extremely rare cases of this coronavirus. I guess there would be a death in an extremely rare case of the virus itself. So, more information about the coronavirus in this great nation in which we live can be found at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website. Remember that, sis, cdc.gov. And for information about the outbreak right here in Florida, just go to floridahealth.gov. That's right, floridahealth.gov. Yeah, and I forgot to mention that the Social Security Administration offices may have been closed until further notice as a result of the pandemic. So, people from the Social Security Administration should never ever get sick or die during this pandemic. I'm pretty sure that the National Social Security Hotline could still be up and running, but the people from the local Social Security Administration offices here in Pinellas County are forced to work from home until further notice. I'm not sure when people would return to work at the local Social Security Administration offices.
That's good news. Anyway, do you have a driver's license, Eddie?
No, I don't. You do. Some Department of Motor Vehicles offices may have been closed indefinitely. That would be according to a man or woman named Terry Rhodes. Terry Rhodes, who's currently the Executive Director of the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, or actually the Florida Division of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. Sis, the Florida Division of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles may have been a good company. And Rhodes, who has been the executive director for quite a long time now, has ordered varied closures of those driver's licenses offices here in the state of Florida. I bet the driver's license office closures may have impacted things that go bad, such as this virus that we're about to deal with. Again, stay-at-home order may go into effect for 30 days or until that order may have been lifted. I'm not sure what Governor DeSantis is going to do to us here in the state of Florida. During the state of Florida's stay-at-home order, we should be alright with that. We can't even go to work during the stay-at-home order. We might not even go to work at all. Who knows? Oh yes. It'll be alright though, because you just have to know something good, sis. Now, I was very fortunate to let you know about building closures and event cancellations that may have impacted the coronavirus. Yeah, that's right. I guess I'm sure about building closings and event cancellations due to this pandemic. You know what, sis?
What, Eddie?
We're in this together. And it's believed to be a rapidly evolving situation by the very fewest folks around the world. Dr. Robert Redfield is a good man, and Dr. Robert Redfield himself is helping America deal with the pandemic from his offices at one of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention here in the United States. And there's one more thing I forgot to even mention. Production of our favorite TV shows, in this case, production of some of our favorite TV shows, may have been either postponed or canceled as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. And some of the shows might even continue to air in reruns until this coronavirus pandemic subsides. I'm pretty sure that some news sources might have said coronavirus concerns would grow. So, our response to this coronavirus pandemic may have evolved faster than this virus itself. So, at the time of this chat session, there may have been at least over 7,000 cases of the coronavirus here in the state of Florida. And that includes over 100 deaths. In this case, 101, sis. That's a lot of deaths. And here in Pinellas County, at least 5 people have already died of the virus. And I'm pretty sure they either died of the virus itself or due to the disease's complications.
Yeah, that's right. We have to heed the advice of the governor, in this case, Governor DeSantis. We would heed the advice of the Florida Department of Health.
Oh yes. Very few non-essential businesses across the country may have been closed until further notice as a result of the pandemic. I know, both of us are pretty sure about Disney World's closure. We don't have to worry. Wake Up Beautiful with Valerie was still on the air. That show has just completed its 4th episode on the air. So, the 4th episode of Wake Up Beautiful with Valerie has already been shot live yesterday. So it's been 4 episodes of Wake Up Beautiful with Valerie. I hope Valerie does any more episodes of Wake Up Beautiful with Valerie as the show's run progresses. I love both Valeries. Especially the newest Valerie, who is the blonde-haired show host here at HSN. Could Rhonda be on the air with Valerie this morning? I'm pretty sure she could. But as far as I'm concerned, I thought about many of the fast food restaurants, and fortunately I just forgot to mention that some of the fast food restaurants are dealing with this pandemic, especially the national chains. McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's, and Arby's, and Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut, and KFC, and Subway, and you know what? Popeyes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure about the chain now called Dunkin'. Formerly Dunkin' Donuts. Formerly Dunkin' Donuts. I should have gotten some Dunkin' Munchkins today. Anyway, some restaurants that only offer full service may have been closed until further notice. Denny's may have been another national fast food chain or something like that. But unfortunately, it may have been a full service chain to say the least. But we're already prepared for that stay-at-home order, which may go into effect tonight. It'll be nice for each of us to take care of our pets every morning, and anyway, there would be one more thing about this coronavirus pandemic, and then we'll get to some more chat. Alright, sis?
Alright, Eddie. I may be wearing a non-surgical mask to work today.
Oh well. Have you been wearing any non-surgical masks?
Yes. So, our mom may have made us any non-surgical masks.
Oh well. So, our president, President Trump, may have sent out billions of masks throughout the entire United States, there should be less than 10 billion non-surgical masks here in the United States as a result of the pandemic. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to attempt to vomit on purpose. And here we are at 4:32 a.m. Regina is thinking that she is going to deal with the thing. I usually get a big gulp cut from 7-Eleven. So the national 7-Eleven chain is still operating these days as a result of the pandemic. But oh, thank heaven. Yeah, that's one of the slogans for 7-Eleven. I should have gotten a Slurpee one day during the early parts of the pandemic. Some parts of the nation may have been in an acceleration phase. I'm pretty sure that someone would watch Governor DeSantis' own announcement about that stay-at-home order. So I'm pretty sure that Channel 8 has some information about the pandemic here in the Tampa Bay area, as well as channels 10, 13, and 28, and Spectrum Bay News 9. I wish that Spectrum Bay News 9 delivers the most continuous coverage of the coronavirus pandemic here in the Tampa Bay area. And presumably, Charter Communications, which owns the Charter Spectrum brand, may have suspended shutoffs nationwide as a result of the pandemic. That would be a good thing. I can't wait. So, are you focused? We're about to stay focused, sis. Yes, we are. Alright. And those are all the bad news flashes about the coronavirus pandemic that's going on all around the world. Now let's get to the regular chat for now. Callie has already been hosting a body solution show all alone because Rhonda was not in the studio last night. Only Callie, Regina, and Emilee. So, I'm pretty sure that those are good behaviors. Alright. Hey Regina, hey Emilee.
Hey. Hi, Eddie. Hi, Miss Harrison. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you guys. Oh, who are you guys?
We're the Harrisons. I'm Eddie, and this is my sister Kelly. We may have faced the worst part of the situation, but I'm very fortunate to explain. More topics are coming. More topics are coming, yes! And we are in a good mood right now as a result of this coronavirus pandemic. We've already been talking about this, my sister and I. Regina, my sister and I were going to talk about this coronavirus pandemic at just after 4 o'clock this morning. So, we're still in this 4 o'clock hour in the morning. But I'm pretty sure someone has had the chance to go to Circle K to grab a Polar Pop cup. I am not sure how much it weighs, but it's at Circle K. And the entire Circle K chain decides that Polar Pop cups stay cold longer, which is why a Polar Pop really does stay cold longer. So I'm pretty sure that the spring fashion edit has been a fun series so far. Even for Regina, Emilee, and Hida, who is not with us this morning. Regina, you can do a good job. Anyway, Do you have a mask on?
No.
No mask? How about you, Emilee?
No.
No. I just want to inform you, ladies, that it is Customer Appreciation Month as usual, and this could still be business as usual here at HSN, but with some guest product experts using Skype to interact with our show hosts. And we are noticing that we've got fewer models with us thanks to the coronavirus. So all of us here at HSN should never, ever get sick or die of the coronavirus that's going on all around the world. We should never, ever get sick or die of the flu either. In fact, we shouldn't get sick or die of all those big viruses that may have gone around all around the world, such as, COVID-19 and former viruses like the West African Ebola virus epidemic in 2014, sorry. The 2014 West African Ebola virus epidemic is good enough, but sis, both of us would want this pandemic not to be as bad as the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. But I'm pretty sure this will be a very interesting situation, huh? So, last night, Callie was on the air. Alone. Rhonda was not in the studio, and that's why.
Well, that's the result for everyone.
Someone was just in conversations with Callie last night, and I'm pretty sure that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is doing as much of a good job as President Trump, Governor DeSantis, Vice President Pence, and the Coronavirus Task Force all the way in D.C. I bet this would be a good thing. Wouldn't it, sis?
It would, Eddie.
So, the 2019 coronavirus disease already originated in Wuhan, China. As started by someone who may have traveled to Seattle, Washington from China. Anyway, are you in for a lonesome business? We sure do have fun. Well, I'm pretty sure this would be a fair catch. So, like all those hurricanes in the past, this should not be a very hard time. This shouldn't be a hardship for both of us. We are the Harrisons, and this shouldn't be a hard time for each of us, but an easy time for us. So, it's not hard for us, but it's easy. Alright, sis?
Alright, Eddie.
May have said the wrong words in the time being, but another thing about this pandemic is that some production of varied movie studios in Hollywood may have come to a halt. So, the people at companies called Columbia Pictures, TriStar Pictures, Universal Pictures, Disney, and, of course, Touchstone and Miramax, they may have canceled production of some movies. And I do remember a company called 20th Century Fox. These days, it's now 20th Century Studios, along with subsidiary Fox Searchlight Pictures, now known as Searchlight Pictures these days. When I hear the 20th Century Fox logo's music, It kind of looks like it sounds like a marching band fanfare.
But what do you think, Eddie? Are you not risking lives?
Alright. So, we're in this together, sis. We don't want our lives in jeopardy. Someone is around town to help us keep our lives out of jeopardy of the coronavirus. And we're here to help many other people. Alright, there are many different groups. In about 10 days it'll be Easter Sunday. Possibly without any Easter eggs and stuff like those. Rhonda is already live via Skype.
And guess what? Rhonda is not live via Skype. Fortunately, HSN had to record Rhonda's Skype conversation for rebroadcast.
Well, wait. There's already an encore presentation of Rhonda's Body Solutions, especially today's special, already in progress. I'm pretty sure that some people are sad to hear about the building closures and event cancellations because of the coronavirus pandemic. I think about that. We would have to stay at home for about 30 days. And we would stay home before things get worse. Alright, sis?
Alright, Eddie.
Hey, I didn't do something about that. Some animated sitcoms may still be in production despite this pandemic that we're about to deal with.
Jeez.
Emilee always knows the difference between before and after. Previously, it was Annette, but now, it's Emilee. It's Emilee! I had to drink Publix iced tea in this Circle K Polar Pop cup. But before this coronavirus disease began, there were several different diseases all around the world, such as Ebola virus disease and Zika virus. Right now, this pandemic should be better than the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic, but with a lot less cases and deaths around the world than the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic itself. That pandemic lasted from 1918 to 1920, and let's hope this pandemic may last less than 3 years. Presumably, there would be a lot of ideas. There's got to be some more fun if this pandemic ends in at most a year or two. Actually, it'll end in at most a couple of months. I'm pretty sure President Trump has about 1 more month to deal with any bad things, such as a number of cases and deaths rising. It'll be bad for the very fewest folks around the world, but good for others. Especially all of us still living in this great nation of America.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and a big gulp cup at 7-Eleven has a different comparison than Circle K's Polar Pop. It used to be called Thirst Buster before it was changed to Polar Pop. I am not sure if there would still be a Thirst Buster at Circle K's nationwide chain these days. Perhaps it is the regional Circle K chain and not a national convenience store chain. 7-Eleven is one of the national convenience store chains in this world. And so maybe Speedway. I'm pretty sure that Hess and Hess Express may have been folded into Speedway these days. But who's right about that? Yeah. It'll be alright. The kids might not be in school across the nation thanks to this pandemic. Some of the kids are wearing any non-surgical masks to be protected from this virus. It really is an international virus that started all the way in China late last year. Okay. Hey, what are we gonna do? We're gonna think fast. But a lot of people around the world are good. But fortunately, the CDC does not want all our lives in jeopardy. They want to keep all our lives out of jeopardy of the coronavirus. So, there may have been blood donations thanks to many blood companies. I'm pretty sure that Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida may have been a health insurance company. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida. That's what the company is. I'm sorry. Well, I'm pretty sure. I may be just as funny as Helen, one of HSN's show hosts. And there are ideas. Okay. You know what, sis? One day, a friend had to go to a grocery store. And she decided to buy a 62-ounce jar of milk chocolate M&Ms. The milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand. That woman eventually bought any more 62-ounce jars of milk chocolate M&Ms, to say the least. Yesterday was, in fact, April Fool's Day. And the lady should have been telling practical jokes yesterday. She should have played an April Fool's prank on her mom and dad.
Oh, yes.
I bet the gas stations would still be able to work during this public health emergency. So, oh my god. There may have been varied press conferences. The first couple of which are produced and conducted at the State Emergency Operations Center all the way in Tallahassee. So, Pinellas County's own Emergency Operations Center has done a good job in monitoring Pinellas County's progress of the coronavirus pandemic. With less than 100 cases here in Pinellas County and at least 5 deaths. Now, Customer Appreciation Month will work. Hey, that's a DVD movie. Hey sis, I want to show you something.
What is that, Eddie?
Axe. Let me spray it on my shirt, okay? Let me spray it on my shirt, okay? I got it. I got it, sis. Yep.
A little more.
There. Uh-oh. What was that thing that fell on the floor? A DVD? No. A DVD inside a case? No. The DVD? Yes. The DVD case? Yes. In fact, Rhonda may have been doing Skype throughout the day, so it'll be alright, sis. But guess what? We just brought our pets here, and they may have been locked up in cages so that they would be protected from the virus. It's alright. But thanks to a specific power outage at our own house, if there would be a stay-at-home order, we would have to stay at Valerie's house with her and Justin and her dog Sprocket. But it'll be alright. But about 2 days ago, I should have watched Justin present a river flow mobile power station, usually presented by Justin himself, who is an electronics expert here at HSN. So, the news is good news, especially for everyone who works at national news sources: ABC News, NBC News, CBS News, Fox News, MSNBC, to say the least, is a 24-hour news channel that may have been operated by NBC News on a considerable basis. And I used to watch some guy named Larry King. Larry King is one of the greatest men who may have worked at CNN for a lot of years. I'm pretty sure there may have been a specific idea. So, we're always grateful. God and Jesus Christ are watching all of us during what I think may be a hard time for some folks around the world, but fortunately, an easy time for us. Rhonda should have an easier time too. Rhonda is already doing social distancing things, especially Skype stuff. Oh yes, HSN has good fashions, especially shapewear from Rhonda's brand, DG2, and Slinky. Oh yes. The people at Slinky, especially a woman named Jackie, may have done a good job. Jackie should have lived in New York by now. So, fortunately, if there was a power outage going on at our home right now, the stay-at-home order would actually take place at Valerie's home, and we would presumably relax with her, and possibly Justin, and definitely Sprocket. Oh yes.
What were you doing Tuesday?
I was trying to help Sprocket out while Justin was doing any any EcoFlow river shows. I was trying to help Sprocket out while Justin was presumably about to do any EcoFlow river power banks. Oh yeah. Actually, those are called EcoFlow river power stations. And that's what Valerie's husband, Justin, may have presented in the past, especially earlier this week, on Tuesday. I was deemed And it was so nice for me to see Valerie and Sprocket while Justin was away.
Do you still like Valerie and Sprocket?
Oh, sure. I would love to go stay with Valerie and Sprocket and Justin during that shelter-in-place order, or fortunately a stay-at-home order, or a safer-at-home order. Okay? How about that? So, the safer-at-home order will be either at our own house, or if the power is out over there, Valerie's house. If we stay at Valerie's house for about 30 days, then we would be able to be around with Valerie and Justin and Sprocket for that time. In fact, our own house is fortunately in a good mood, but unfortunately, it's in jeopardy. I thought about that. And I know why that our house is in jeopardy. We may have been evicted, and if we were evicted, we would be forced to live with Valerie, Justin, and Sprocket. That would be a bad idea. So, our house may have been in jeopardy of the eviction thing. Well, I'm pretty sure. Well, it'll be alright. Our house may have been in jeopardy of unpaid rent, which could possibly result in the eviction. Sis, if that was to happen, we would be living with Valerie, Justin, and Sprocket. Okay. Either that, or I would be living with Valerie, Justin, and Sprocket, or you would be living with Mom and Dad and the other members of the Harrison family. But anyway, let's try to talk about the possible jeopardy of being evicted again. There could be a possibility of unpaid rent, which would put our life in our own home in jeopardy. That's going to jeopardize our future. If that was to happen, I would be living with Valerie and Justin and Sprocket. And Sis, you would be living with Mom and Dad and the family. Let me say that again. If we got evicted from our own home, I would be living with Valerie and Justin and Sprocket, and you would be living with Mom and Dad and your sisters and other brothers. It'll be alright though. But a friend was telling Valerie about the decision. So, despite the pandemic, unpaid rent could possibly put our life in our old home in jeopardy for sure. But the future is so bright and stunning. Okay? Right now, I'm looking at this watch, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's a digital watch right now. And the encore of Callie continues. And at the time of the show, she was all alone. Okay? Sis?
Yes, Eddie.
Oh, that would be a good thing, wouldn't it?
It sure would, Eddie.
Alright. I could tell you one more time that if our unpaid rent could put our life in our own home in jeopardy of our evictions, there would be possible evictions for sure. And if we get evicted from our own home, I would have to go live with Valerie and Justin and Sprocket, and you would have to go live with Mom and Dad and the other sisters and the other brothers. Okay? How's that sound? HSN Cares. That's some sort of charity created by HSN. I'm pretty sure this would be a very interesting charity for me. A friend would donate to varied charities. The American Red Cross may have been a good charity for coronavirus victims. But the Red Cross has already dealt with people affected by the many hurricanes for a lot of years. Especially the big four of 2004. You know what? And they are Charlie, Francis, Ivan, Gene. The list goes on, okay? And sis, did you know that Hurricane Dorian may have been a good name for a specific hurricane? It may or may not have been retired.
Dorian?
Oh, you're right, sis. If Dorian got retired, he should have had his name changed to like Donovan or Don or you know what. Don is already in the hurricane naming list for the Atlantic Ocean, at least for now. Okay. The National Hurricane Center would be doing good usage of these Atlantic hurricane names for sure. Now, tell me any Atlantic hurricane names for this year, sis. What are your guesses?
I would go with Arthur?
You're right.
Bertha?
You're right.
Cristobal?
Right.
Dolly?
Right.
Edward or whatever?
Right on Edward. Right on Edward. Okay.
Shay.
Right.
Gonzalo.
Right.
Hannah.
Right.
Isaias.
Right.
Josephine.
Right.
Kyle.
Right.
Laura.
Right.
Marco.
Right.
Nana.
Right.
Omar.
Right.
Paulette.
Right.
Renee.
Right.
Sally.
Right.
Teddy.
Right.
Vicky.
Right.
And finally, Wilfred.
Right. Are you right about all 21 Atlantic hurricane names? Regina, Emilee?
Yes. Needless to say, it's just after 5 o'clock in the morning. So it's a good day so far. Now, do you think we're going to explain something in a bad way? No.
I was looking good. Yes, there was a guy who went on a fishing trip one morning and his credit card was declined during the fishing trip. He only had been $6 short, and I think that would be too heavy, right?
Right.
So, a friend was going to a specific movie theater here in St. Pete. These days, it's too bad some movie theaters across the nation are closed until further notice. Remember that, sis.
I will, Eddie. Oh, jeez. This may be a very interesting thing about the possibility of a big sneezing risk. Rhonda is already via Skype. She's trending on TV.
But Rhonda, however, should never be at higher risk of getting any coronaviruses or any complications from those viruses.
Yes, medical researchers may have shown this. I'm holding a Sony micro cassette recorder right over here, and it's from Sony.
Yeah, it's from Sony. I'm pretty sure about the movie studios announcing different dates for many movie releases thanks to this pandemic.
Oh, jeez.
There are some kids looking forward to a fun day, right? It doesn't mean there's something bad going on around the world in which we live. Oh, jeez. It's just that. Alright. We're all focused and raring to go. There should possibly be a specific and smaller peak of cases and deaths here in the state of Florida. There could be a peak that's smaller than any 49 other states. We're going to continue on.